It all started 10 years ago.
Can you hear me? Are you having difficulty speaking? Can you move your head? Just nod if you can hear me. Look up, please.
After the accident, winning became the most important thing. Me? My name is Brian Cameron. If that name sounds familiar, you're probably right. A former high school All-American had everything going for me, but when I got to college, the game just got faster, and I couldn't keep up. I had my opportunities, but after a few seasons, I decided to focus on being on the coaching side of things. My little brother Bam, on the other hand, had a very successful career playing for Wisconsin State and eventually making it to the NFL. If there was one thing that kid had, it was heart. Unfortunately, his NFL career was cut short due to injury, but here we are, all these years later. I've been the athletic director at St Louis State for the last 10 years, and winning has become one of the hardest things to do here. Lack of recruits, subpar coaching, losing seasons. It's become a culture around here. After talking to my little brother Bam, he said I should make the call. Coach Jay, you've been out of the game for 8 years. How would you like to come out of retirement?
Welcome to the year 2030. 8 years removed from the Whitetails' last national championship, and the college landscape has shifted. Let's just rewind back to the year 2020 after the Whitetails' first national championship. The NCAA agreed to a new deal, bringing in 7 new teams, including 6 into the new MAC conference in hopes of making a Power 6 potential conference. This conference consists of teams in the mid part of the U.S., the middle part, and we will take a look at those 6 teams. Now, let's start in Missouri, where we look at Missouri Tech Mavericks. They are a team coached by former Whitetail Tucker Okonkwo. They have had consistent success since being promoted into the NCAA, and I think that this team is going to be great in this dynasty. They are our direct rival. Now let's go to the state of Oklahoma, where we look at the Tulsa State Oilers, another Oklahoma team hoping to bring some great competition to the state of Oklahoma. Now, they are coached by Jake Moreland, a legend in Oklahoma, but he started out fast, 3 straight 12 and 2 seasons, and now he's kind of cooled off. He's looking to get back on the map. Now, let's look at our third rival here, the Missouri Tech A&M Knights. Now, Matt Branch is the head coach there. He has not been successful, and to be honest, he's on the hot seat. One more season like he's been having the last 10 years, and they could definitely look at a change at the head coaching position. So let's move out east a little bit and go to Maryland, where we look at the Metropolis Bulldogs, who really have not had that much success, but they've been able to do one thing, and that's to run the ball. Robbie Richardson is their head coach. He is the legend in Cincinnati, the greatest running back we've ever played against in the Whitetails Dynasty. He's back as a coach. Now let's move to Colorado, where we look at the Rocky Mountain State Miners, one of the best teams, honestly, in the NCAA. They are head coached by former quarterback, Steelers quarterback, Buffalo's quarterback, Cordell Stewart. Watch out for them. And then let's talk about the other team that is not in the MAC, but they have been running the college football world the last 10 years. Right after the Whitetails ended their dynasty, they picked back up where the Whitetails left off. Look at Coach Brian Urlacher. He has coached them up to be one of the best teams in the nation. And let's not forget about the Whitetails. They took a big dip after Coach Jay retired. 8 years later, look at them now. They're trying to just pick up the pieces and get back to where they were 10 years ago. but head coach Adam Miller in the last 2 years has definitely resurrected the program a little bit, and he's looking to get that program right back on track. Now let's talk about our team, the St. Louis State Rivercats. And here we are, trying to revive this organization. They've had 10 years of losing, 0 winning records since being moved to NCAA Division I, so we will have our work cut out for us. Now let's get to the coaches. Brian Cameron is the athletic director. He has hired his little brother Bam as the offensive coordinator. Now, we will talk about some recruiting stuff in a couple of episodes, but right now, let's just talk about the coaching, because the reason why I bring recruiting up is because Elgin Lloyd and Bam Cameron are our coaches. Now, that is a running back and cornerback. That means they will have specialties in recruiting as far as defensive backs and running backs and offensive line, which we'll get to later. So let's just hop into the roster as we look at our key players, starting at quarterback. Phoenix Frazier, 6'3" freshman, 186 pounds. He will be the number 1 quarterback on our depth chart, along with Davis Lee, who is not far behind. Davis Lee is more of a mobile guy, so watch out for him in certain packages. Both of those quarterbacks will see some good time. Now, Darrell Arenas is going to be the starter at running back. He is 6'3", 201. He is a bruiser. But let's talk about the guy that could have the most impact in the backfield. That's Deion Carter. Line him up at receiver. Line him up at running back. Line him up at cornerback. And he will play any position you put him in. Now, he's going to be a dynamic weapon across the board. Look out for him. He's only a freshman. He's 5'10". He could be a little injury prone, so just watch out for that. But he's going to be a dynamic playmaker on this team. Now let's move to receiver. Andre Booker, number 86, 6'2", 190. He is one of the biggest receivers on the team. He's going to be our go up and get it guy. Now I kind of compare him to Dez Bryant. Not great speed. He has good hands, but he's not a polished route runner. I think he's definitely going to need to work on that. But let's talk about the guy who's going to get open. That's Adrian West, 5'6", 160 pounds. Yeah, he's really, really skinny, but he's quick. He is our quickest guy on the roster with 91 acceleration, but he's 5'6". He can fit through holes most guys can't. Now, we're going to try to get him the ball in space, a lot of different areas, so watch out for this little guy. He's going to get the ball quite a bit. Now, let's move over to tight end and check out Isaiah Ford, a 6'3", great size for a tight end, 235. He's going to be a guy that can do everything for us. He's not athletic, but he can block. He can catch the ball. He's going to be pretty good. And let's just talk about blocking just a little bit more and look at our leader on the offensive line, Sam Price Jr. Sam Price, his dad was on the Whitetails for Coach Jay before. Now his son is here for the Rivercats. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball and take a look at 2 defensive ends. Desmond Edwards, impact player. Cecil Moore, impact player. They're going to need to play a huge role on this defense in order for us to even stay competitive. Getting after the quarterback is going to be paramount in order to compete, especially in this conference. But our linebackers definitely leave something to be desired. Aiden Adams is going to be a pretty good linebacker, but he's kind of uncoordinated. Javon Warren is an athletic guy, but he's got a long way to go. He's definitely not polished in terms of his skills. But our defensive backfield is going to be pretty good. Kyron Favors is a good hitting cornerback. He is athletic. And let's just take a look at our safety here, Jerry Pinnon. He is 5'6", another small guy. But watch out for him. He flies all over the field. And really, like I said, having the specialty coaches, Elgin Lloyd, who is a defensive back at Wisconsin State, he will definitely make our cornerbacks better in recruiting and on the field. So let's just look at the full roster. As we start at quarterback, we highlighted Phoenix Frazier is more of the pocket passer. He does have a little bit more arm strength than the rest of the quarterbacks, not as mobile, and he's a little bit more accurate, so he will probably play most of the time. At least right now, he will be the number 1 quarterback as it stands. Lee is a scrambler. Watch out for him. He will get in the game. Now at running back, Darrell Arenas is going to be the number 1 back, but Deion Carter is really good. They're probably both going to be on the field at the same time. And remember, we have a running back as an offensive coordinator, so they're going to get the ball quite a bit. And Arenas is more of the power back. He's going to get the ball on goal line situations. Deion Carter's going to line up everywhere. And then Colin Quaid is the third string running back. He is going to just be a guy. We'll see if he gets playing time. Maybe because of injury he will, but I don't have many plans for him. Now, Jordan Hargreaves is a running back turned fullback. He is a stronger guy, 81 strength. He's decent at blocking, but I don't know where he's going to fit in this offense because, like I said, we're going to be down a whole lot. We're not going to pound the ball. Teams are going to be overpowering us, so we'll have to see how that works. Now, let's move over to receiver. We look at our 5 receivers on the roster. Adrian West, 5'6", a little frail, 160, but 91 acceleration. By far the quickest guy on the roster. Just looking at the guys behind him, 69 acceleration, 61, 61, and 65. Malcolm Tyree has size as well, just like Booker. He's 6'2", 215. I'm not really sure what the rest of these guys do well. I know at least that Booker is a bigger target. He can run some good routes. He can catch the ball pretty well. But the other guys, I don't really know. Jonathan Halka has good release. I think he will benefit in the slot a lot just because of that release, and he has good spectacular catching. So I don't know. We're going to have to kind of get where we need to get with this offense as it is, but I don't know who's going to stick out as far as guys on the roster. So Isaiah Ford is a tight end who really is, I don't know. He's not that athletic. He's just like a Travis Rudolph type of tight end. He is a good blocker. He can run routes when he needs to. But the athletic guy in this tight end group is Jeremiah Harris. We only have 2 tight ends on the roster. Jeremiah Harris is 6'7", 238. I mean, he's massive and he's pretty athletic. Our offensive line consists of a couple of guys of note. First is Cooper Hopkins, who is a pretty good run blocker and has really good impact block. So we'll have to use that when thinking about running the ball to his side. At center, we're looking at Warren Steele. He's not really that impressive, so I won't really go over him too much. Neither is Hawney either. So Sam Price is going to start at left guard. He isn't too impressive either, but he's got 63 run block. That's actually one of the best on the team. And then Robert Graves, a right tackle. Nobody to really note on this offensive line is great. Graves is at least 6'8", so I guess he's got size. So defensively, Desmond Edwards is an impact player. He's got good size, 6'5", 230, but he's a hustle guy. He's going to get after the ball. He's not going to give up on plays. But looking at his backup, Stevie Wright, he's more of a pass rusher, 75 finesse moves. I know Edwards has the higher block shed. He's just a better effort guy right now. I think the same applies for right end. Cecil Moore is more of your technician. He knows what he's doing, and he's smart at the point of attack. But his backup, Eli Hart, is a pass rusher. But Moore has 90 strength. That's the highest on the team. So watch out for him when he's on the field. He can definitely get some plays in the backfield, especially some penetration, just using his core strength. And we'll see what he can do on the rest of this defensive line, because we're going to definitely need it because our talent is really, really lackluster. Now, looking at defensive tackle, Xavier Phillips. I can't even say that name, but just looking at his ratings, he's pretty good. The problem is behind him, it's nothing. His play recognition is one of the highest on the team, 76. But behind him, Connor Kangas, it goes down, 62. He's got a higher block shedding, though, with 67. But the last 2 guys on our roster aren't really that good at all. Connor Kangas is 6'6". I like that size. But Andrew Payne is just the guy. It doesn't seem like he's going to touch the field that much. He doesn't do anything that really sticks out. And then John Johnson is going to be the 4th string, maybe even could move up to 3rd string. I guess we'll have to see what these guys do on the field. So looking at linebacker, and this is where I pointed out that we might struggle just a little bit, because if you don't have good linebackers, you're not going to be good. Aiden Adams is 66 speed. He has 84 acceleration, so he's pretty quick. But what does he do well? That's the thing. I don't know. Wyatt King, another middle linebacker on this roster, along with Javon Warren. Both of those guys will be on the field probably the same time quite a bit. And just looking at what they do well, Javon Warren is the most athletic linebacker on the roster. Great zone coverage, 70 to be exact. But can he get after the ball? I don't know. King is definitely going to be that guy to get after the ball. 62 pursuit, and he's got good finesse moves, and he can rush the passer just a little bit better than Warren can. So moving over to right outside linebacker, Leon Christopher is decent at zone, 60, and he's just a little bit better than the rest. But Gabriel Morales, watch out for him. He's decent. I don't want to say anybody's good on this roster, but he's decent. And then Jericho Ferkser is going to be the third string guy. I'm not redshirting anybody, so that is what our linebacking core is going to look like. So looking at cornerbacks, now this is where we could shine, starting with Kyron Favors and also Nick Sturger. Both of those guys will be the starter, 1 and 2. Floyd actually can play a little bit of receiver. He is the third string cornerback right now. But looking at what they do best, I think it's man. I can't really tell, though, because we're really bad right now. James Beers, he has 65 man coverage, which is tied for the best. The problem is he isn't really that athletic. Now, he is the best tackler on the team as well. That one does bode well. But just looking at the rest of their ratings, I mean, nothing too impressive. He is really, really slow. 73 for a cornerback is terrible. So we'll need to kind of recruit there and get better at cornerback. Jerry Pinnon was the guy I highlighted earlier in the key players. Now, he has really good hit power, 80. That is a thumper for a 5'6 guy, 175 pounds as well. And looking at his backup, Mud James, is going to be just another guy. We'll see how he develops. I don't know about these backups. We don't have good depth at all. But then just moving over to strong safety, Ru Ming is going to be the starter here. But watch out for Liam Murphy, who could catch him. The one thing about Ming is that he has good zone coverage, way better than Murphy right now. But I think Murphy could end up taking his spot, possibly. I don't know if he will end up taking it, but at least splitting time. I guess we'll have to see how these two play out at safety. So moving over to kicker, Bill Mary. Man, I mean, our kickers are bad. Our punters are bad. This was one thing I struggled with in the Whitetails Dynasty earlier. In the Dynasty, I could not kick for anything. And then looking at Petrovic, just another guy that can't kick. I mean, he's a punter, Dragan Petrovic, 44 kick power, 44 accuracy. Not great at all. So like I do in every Dynasty, I will randomize the playbook, and we will stick with this playbook for 2 seasons. So once every 2 seasons, we will switch up the playbook, and we do land on UL Monroe. Now, I think that UL Monroe has a bunch of shotgun and pistol, and we kind of ended the Whitetails Dynasty with that playbook. And then with the defense, we end up on the 3-4 multiple. I actually like that because in the Whitetails, we played a 4-3. So let's move over to the schedule, and we will open up versus some pretty close state rivals, Missouri and Arkansas, to open it up. But then we go on the road to play the number 2 team in the nation, our former team, the Wisconsin State Whitetails. That is going to be a tough game. Then we move into conference play, and our conference is actually pretty good, to be honest. To be the MAC conference, we're good. And it just looks like Tulsa State, Missouri Tech, and even Rocky Mountain State, they're going to be the dominant teams in this conference right away. We'll see if that changes, but I think that these guys definitely have their work cut out for them this season going into conference play. So let's just briefly talk about sliders. I won't really talk in too depth with it, but I do use J kits with a little bit of a modification. And the modification really is the running back ability with user. Bumped it up to 40. I believe it's about 20 at default. And then I bumped up quarterback accuracy to 25 along with user accuracy at 10 instead of 5, because really it's unrealistic to miss like just really, really easy throws. You want to miss some throws, but not every single throw. So this is where we start our journey. With the team that has not had a winning record in 10 seasons, the first 10 in FBS play, we will see how this will go. The chances of us winning right away are very slim to none. So we really have our work cut out for us here in this dynasty, but I am excited for another journey 10 years later from 2020, our first national championship, here we are again, 8 years after retirement in the year 2030. The college landscape has changed. Let's get into this dynasty. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.